Hello everyone, how you all doing? Welcome to Astropus. I am Hassan. In 2021 alone, we've had more than, or at least 147 mass shooting as of April 16th of 2021. In the year 2020, we had about at least or more than 600 of such shootings in 2020. 600 cases, not different cases of mass shooting attacks. Compared to 2019, when we had 417 mass shootings. Now, as you can tell, the topic for this podcast is mass shooting attacks. And it is, we all thought that, probably we had it low because of maybe people were not moving from place to place like before. So maybe things are going to get back to normal or whatever. Like maybe people are beginning to understand that we are one and all that. But in 2020, like I just mentioned, we had more than, 600 of such attacks. And in year 2021, we've had 147 of it. So that is to say that mass shooting as it is not going nowhere. It is the underlying issue has not been addressed, and it's raising its ugly heads again. And for obvious reasons, you know why I'm talking about this today, because of the recent attack in Indianapolis in the FedEx warehouse, where a young man, 19-year-old Mr. Hole, they call him Hole, went into the FedEx warehouse and just began to shoot indiscriminately. And that will lead me to my second point. But before I get into that, the President Joe Biden spoke. He said, "It is a national embarrassment what's going on. It's not only these mass shootings that are occurring. Every single day, there is a mass shooting in the United States. If you count all those who are killed out on the streets of our cities and our rural areas, it is a national embarrassment and must come to an end." I like that when he said it's a national embarrassment and it must come to an end. Those are the words of President Joe Biden. And I must confess, his presidency, is a 78 or so years old man, is an elder statesman for sure. But he has been doing well. And if you know, in some of my past podcasts, I was not too comfortable with his presidency with his candidacy because of his antecedents. Looking at how the laws he has passed has badly hurt the minority communities and all that. But he has, been trying to be fair the most he can do. He's trying, and I must commend the man for doing his thing. He's trying, and I like his leadership tone too. Now, the mayor of Indianapolis, his name is Joe Oxett, told reporters that the scourge of gun violence that has killed far too many in the country and his city is just unbelievable. He says this in quote: "What we have left with this morning is grief. Grief for the families of those killed, grief for the employees who have lost their co-workers, and grief for the many Americans struggling to understand how tragedies like this continue to occur again and again." Now, I understand that the authorities are trying to, put together laws that will limit the flow of sales of guns and all that. But when I was reading in my prep for this podcast, I came across the fact that there was what they call, is it a red flag? They call it like when in Indianapolis in particular. Like if you've been said to be of an imminent danger to yourself or to your community, that and you have guns that could take the gun away from you, and there's a way they'll go about it that in such a way that you will not be allowed to have guns and all that. I mean, the judge will prohibit you from having guns. But the funny thing about that so-called red flag is that it does not really stop you from having guns forever. The law can only stand for a few months, at max a year, after which that ban can be lifted, unless the authorities, like the police or your family, goes back to the authorities, say, listen, this man is about to have access to guns, and then they can revisit the case and give another 1 year or so of another ban, basically prohibiting from having guns. And I'm saying this to say that it has been reported and confirmed that the guns that Mr. Hole, the 19-year-old kid, used to kill at least 8 people in that FedEx plant, that has sent a very very jarring shock to the Sikh community, which I'll be talking about in a minute. He illegally purchased those guns, and there were dates like I think they purchased one in September, another one in maybe August or July. Like, he illegally purchased those guns, and because his mom had reported earlier, remember, Mr. Hole was an employee of this particular FedEx warehouse, this FedEx plant in Indianapolis. He was a member of it. And this is the 3rd mass shooting incident in Indianapolis this year. There's something about that state. I pray for my loved ones over there. I mean, well, I pray for everybody's safety. Let's use the right word. And it's not really my loved ones, but I pray for everybody's safety all over America. Because we are just a bullet away, and you don't know where it's going to come from. You know, just here in Brooklyn, in the past 2 weeks or less than a month, right here where I live in Brooklyn, we've had at least 2 shootings that has been in the local news. So clearly, you're just a gunshot away from being counted as those who are victims of mass shooting. But let's get back to what I'm trying to say. So I look at it and I said to myself that, okay, this young man whose mother, alerted the authorities that his son is suicidal. I think she used the word cop suicidal, like maybe someone that's going to face the cop and they'll shoot him and he's going to die, something like that. That they should check him. And the authorities checked on this kid, and they found him that he had a gun, and they took the gun away from him. Actually, they were supposed to return his gun to him, but for some reason, they did not return the gun. Which is like, oh, thank God they didn't return the gun. But this kid, because he doesn't have the gun with him now, and they did not really press no charge because they did not deem it, they did not seem to be of imminent danger. Because this kid was not deemed to be of imminent danger to the community, they did not really press that. They did not really go further to sort of bar him from having access to weapons, to lethal weapons. So the case did not really get to the judge to say, okay, we're gonna make sure that he does not get access to get a gun in the States or whatever. Because this kid legally purchased those 2 rifles that he used to perpetrate this heinous crime. Now, in the words of the late great DMX, he said, "Guns don't kill people. People kill people." We may want to, as much as and I'm all for it, that we should regulate the sales of guns. We should not make accessible to kids or people that are mentally unstable and all that. I get it, 100%. But even in a state like Indianapolis, the way they are even trying to curtail it is ridiculous. They're going to tell you not to use guns for after a few months. You can go back and use the gun. And could there be some racial undertone to this? Because this law always go easy on things that the white folks kind of support. You get my point? Because if you look at those who are shouting, I want my Second Amendment or whatever they call it, they are mostly white people. So we should look at the racial undertone and begin to educate these people ourselves how this is really a very bad phenomenon that we are dealing with right now. Now, to that, I have with me just a short list of the mass shootings that has happened this year up until April 16th. Okay, and it's not all; it's more than that, but just the ones that has been widely televised or that have gotten the national attention, so to say. But I want to talk about something else. I want to educate us a little bit about the C. Is it Sikh they call it, or C? I think the K is silent. Is SIKH, C religion. We have Buddhism, we have Hinduism, we have all the isms and all that. And the C is one of those that people know them. I mean, I've seen it. I think they are Muslims. I did not really know that it's another type of religion. I've seen people with turbans, and I mean, I love it. I think it's really beautiful. It's really cute. I have no problem with it. But based on what I was reading, the population of the sea in America alone is at least roughly about 500,000 of them are in this country, the United States of America. And they are doing great things. They are heads of corporations and doing big things. And why am I talking about the sea? Or how do you pronounce it? Give me a second. Let me for how to pronounce it, so I don't keep saying jargons. Okay, pardon me, guys. I've just confirmed. It's called Sikhs. So it's Sikhism. The Sikhs. Okay. So like I said, there are about 500,000 of them in the United States, and so on and so forth. And why is the Sikh religion or people that identifies as the Sikhs a huge concern? Because they contribute to a huge chunk, to a good chunk of the employees of that particular FedEx warehouse. Not only that, of the 8 people that Mr. Holt killed, 4 of them were Sikhs. So that's confirmed. 4 of them were Sikhs. And you begin to wonder, is this a case of like targeted attack? Like the one we had when the other man attacked the spa, and it turned out that more than half of those people that were killed were actually Asian Americans. So we have these things to also investigate. So out of curiosity, I said to myself, let me do some research. What does it mean to be a Sikh and all those things? And I was able to find out that it was Guru Navak, all right, that was born in 1469 in Punjab. It's a territory between Pakistan and northwestern India that founded this religion based on the fact that the omnipotence of God, that God is in everything and all of those good attributes and all that. But they practice Sikhism, that's what they call it. And it was that was the founder of it. So right now, a lot of Sikhs are villages are based. They are in Punjab, they are in that northwestern India, and some part of Pakistan. So that's like the foundation of it, and this also sent a shock wave to the community, because this community have been suffering, have been discriminated at, segregated, called names, attacked, maimed. One of such attacks is the one that happened in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, right? when the white supremacists attacked, he basically attacked the temple in 2012 and killed a good number of people. All right, so yeah, he attacked the temple in Wisconsin and killed at least 6 people. Okay, so this was in 2012. And remember that after the 9/11 attack in 2001, I'm so sorry. The Muslims were targeted, you know, and not only that. So now when you now wear the turban and all that, they now you cannot hide your identity now. So people call them all sort of names, call them all sort of anti-Muslim sentiment, and I mean, they suffer those sentiments, and they call them names like "Go Home," or they call them Osama bin Laden. When you see a Sikh coming, they call them Osama bin Laden because of that is what they think they are, because of the way they dress, the way they appear. You know, they don't shave their beards. The men, you know, they wear the turbans. They are very moral people. They are very really good people, and they are very smart people. But because of because of their mannerisms, they've been targeted for so long. So now this recent attack is now making people think, oh wait, is this like what happened in 2012? Are we gonna go back? Are we also now a group that is also being targeted, like the Asian Americans or like the minorities of this country? Because when you have 500,000 of a population that is over 300 million, you are really minority, literally. So they're gonna figure that out. But I just have to point this out for people that are trying to figure out what they mean by the Sikhs. Who are the Sikhs? It's a religion that was founded by Guru Nanak, and this man was born in 1469, and so if you're interested, go check them out. Go look at what they do. Go look at what they represent, and you get more information.